Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/Just No Mother-in-Law. So would you like to judge some mother-in-laws with me today? Why am I even asking? Of course you would! So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to, then please do stick around and enjoy! And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you! And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions I give on the whip up... Teeth back in, woman! Jesus! Any opinions that I give on the posts we read today are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a different opinion, that's perfectly okay. Please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just make sure you're keeping it respectful with each other. There is no need to be mean with each other just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? So this first one was posted by Instabanus. Banus? Mother-in-law and father-in-law lose it because I booked a holiday while I still can. So heavy trigger warnings for terminal cancer. If that's something that you cannot deal with today, I will leave a timestamp for the next story. Do feel free to skip ahead. So, I was diagnosed with incurable cancer about a year ago. I have responded well to treatment, so have been going on quite a few cheapo trips this year with my own savings. At some point, this treatment will stop working, usually within 2 years. Then it will be on to something else, maybe chemo. Although my husband was made redundant and we are living fairly frugally on disability and welfare, we have life insurance which will pay out near the end of my life, and I will be able to take a pension lump sum which will be arriving in the near future. So, finances are complicated, but not desperate. Get critical illness cover now, people. I have been wanting to take my kids on a pool and beach holiday and keeping an eye on last minute deals. The in-laws have been dead against this, wondering aloud why anybody would ever want to leave their home, ever. Oh, I don't know, in-laws, maybe because they want to make some memories for their kids before they are no longer able to do so? What the hell? Well, they found out I hadn't done as they wished and spent £1,000 on a bargain holiday next week using an interest-free credit card. They hit the roof. Yeah, even £1,000 within the UK these days is pretty flippin' cheap. If you look at even staycations now, they're a fortune, honestly. Bellowing at me that they will end up having to pay. Not true. I've never asked them for money and I have a reasonable lump sum coming. Father-in-law stormed out and mother-in-law chose to follow me around asking insane questions, as if I hadn't considered our situation carefully. She also asked, shouldn't you be saving your money for the children? The more I think about that, the worse it is. The kids will be getting money down the line, but no, I shouldn't try to enjoy the rest of my life with them, but instead lie around the house until I die, saving every penny so they have a bit more in the bank. The fucking cheek of it. Yeah, the fucking cheek of it. Like, how dare they try and throw a tantrum because you just want to enjoy some time with your family while you still can? Sure, if I wasn't ill, I would never buy a holiday on credit when we aren't working. We've never not been working before or claimed any benefits, but this could very well be the last summer in my life that I can travel abroad. I am sure I won't regret this relatively small expenditure, and we always bond on our holidays. I'm generally very frugal and sensible with money. Anyway, she sends a text to my husband the next day, and the assault on my character is whore-dropping. I'm assuming they meant to say jaw-dropping, but typo or autocorrect got them a good one there. Bear in mind, she is a klepto-shopaholic. She described how OP's glee in their new credit card is genuinely terrifying. I wasn't gleeful, I just explained that this was how I paid. She said I have a frantic need to spend money. Does anybody else think that the mother-in-law is projecting a teeny weeny bit here? Goodness me. Now, you don't know me, but hell, I veer on the side of stingy. The projection from this shopaholic is gobsmacking. Yep, me and OP on the same page. This is projection. Like classic projection. She said that father-in-law is incandescent with disgust. Ooh, fancy. So over the top and offensive. Oh yes, she also asks if I'm having counselling and spends a paragraph intimating that I've basically gone mad and asking if he needs help. Wow. What the hell? We have since made arrangements over the phone for them to see the kids on Monday. They pull shit like this every so often, so we will be very much ignoring their dramatics and grey rocking. I've got serious cancer, for fuck's sake, and want to spend some of my own money on a family holiday. Thanks for the vent. My goodness. And the thing is, I don't even think that it's the fact that the parents want the money or anything like that. I genuinely think that they just want to be able to tell them how to live their lives. Like, and then the fact that they've gone and done it despite them going, oh no, you shouldn't do that, is essentially the reason that they've decided to pop off and, you know, go mental on the OP. But what the hell? That is just so sinister, how little they're thinking of anyone other than their own opinions. What on earth? So, down in the comments, Sharon H888 says, I have a relative that had incurable cancer. He didn't take the trip, and he felt so badly so quickly that he couldn't. And now he's gone. Go. You're making memories that will be remembered forever. After you've left the physical plane, do it, but stop telling your in-laws anything. It's none of their business, and they don't have a say. They are truly horrible people. And then RN Pink 123 says, good for you. Life is meant to be lived while you can. We all have an expiration date. You just happen to know that yours will be coming much too soon. Please do not let her make you feel guilty. Give your kids all the good memories that you can. Exactly. So this next one was posted by Bob Lob Law YYY. Mother-in-law threw a tantrum because I didn't let her take my feverish toddler outside in 100-degree heat. Oh, goody. My toddler had a baby tooth breakthrough today. He was crying and grabbing at the eruption site with a body temp above 100 Fahrenheit. I gave him Motrin and was trying to keep him cool and comfortable. I went to take care of something else for 2 minutes and then heard the door open. I knew instantly my live-in mother-in-law was carrying him outside into 100-degree Texas heat. For context, she has these folk beliefs that the warmer, the better, and coldness, by her definition 80 Fahrenheit is cold, makes the body more sick. She has literally told my wife before that fevers are cured by applying more heat. She is an idiot. Like, yeah, of course. If you're poorly, you need to stay warm, but emphasis on warm, you know, and by warm we just mean at a comfortable body temperature, you know? You don't need to be blasting the heat. Like, that's crazy, especially when you have a fever, or as we would call it here, a temperature. Which is so silly now when I think about it. It's just like the most simpleton way of saying a fever, isn't it? I got a temperature. She has literally told my wife before that fevers are cured by applying more heat. She also thinks air conditioning causes the common cold, and drinking milk or water from the fridge causes you to have diarrhea within 1 hour. How has this woman made it to mother-in-law status, honestly? Anyway, I immediately walk over and took him back inside. The only thing I said was, we shouldn't make him more hot. I wasn't rude or raised my voice, I just stopped her from taking an upset and feverish toddler into extreme heat and make him even more uncomfortable. She followed us inside, threw a fit along the way, went into her bedroom and slammed the door hard. 2 hours later, she came out to use the bathroom and slammed her door again to make sure I knew she was still mad. I don't think the way I handled it was enough to trigger that response. Ah yes, but you underestimate the power of entitlement in these people and what they will do when they don't get their own way. It's like dealing with a toddler with them. But let me know if anyone thinks differently. Hot, cold aside, it's the way she handled being corrected that really surprised me. I'm used to my toddler not having emotional regulation, but I didn't expect to see that from a 60-plus-year-old. I personally know a good handful of 60-plus-year-olds that are like that. Don't have much to do with them, funnily enough. So, down in the comments, Tim Ashcraft says, causing friction and tension in your home is completely unacceptable. She needs to be gone. This drama is corrosive and caustic. To be this old and still causing drama points to unresolved anger issues. Yeah, honestly. And there's a part of me that ponders on this quite often, you know, when it's like these people that are that age and they don't have emotional regulation and they don't know how to deal with boundaries and things like that. There is a part of me that kind of often thinks to myself, how much of it can they help? How much of it can they not? Because the way they were brought up at the time and blah, blah, blah. But the conclusion is still always the same. It's still not okay. Like, just because that's what you got away with then doesn't mean that's what you get away with now. Now we know more and now we know better. And it's okay to be that sort of person and then learn from it and change. I don't think it helps holding it against people who maybe used to be a bit of an asshole but have made a concerted effort to, you know, therapy that shit away, get help, get better, become a better person. But often, unfortunately, when it gets to that point, they don't want to do that. Like, I had a conversation with a relative the other day, actually, who struggles with their mental health to a point of there are certain things that realistically they could get help with through therapy. And when we were talking about this and I was saying how much I find my therapy has helped me and what have you, despite the fact that I will put my hands up and admit, like, I am still like half the time doing therapy without a clue what I'm doing. I'm just letting her lead the way or I ramble. You know, it's still helping me to come to terms with certain things about myself that I'm like, oh, so that's why I'm like that. That's why I do that. This is what I can do to help myself away from that, you know, especially within the anxiety and stuff like that. And I was saying that to them and they just went, oh, well, you know, I'm this age now. What's the point? Like, because you're still a person who deals with other people. You're never too old or too young for therapy. Like, you're never too old to become a better person. If everyone has that mindset, then where is growth ever going to come from, you know? But yeah, it was crazy when they said that. I was just looking at them like mouth agape, like, are you serious? What? No! I literally said, I was like, that's not a thing. Like, you can do it. I think it's more of a reluctance though, isn't it, to change at that point. It's like, I've been doing this for this many years, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to change. I'm fine now. It's like, well... Have you ever noticed people avoid you a lot? So, Glittering Fishing 932 then says, either she or y'all need to move out. This is not sustainable. She's a whack job. Yes, she's definitely been sipping on the fountain of folk tales and wives' tales, hasn't she? You know, I've heard a few of these things before. But, like, mostly when I grew up, it was like, oh, you can't be out in the cold without a jacket because you'll get ill. And it's like, because the cold makes you ill. And it's like, well, no, well, there is a slight correlation to being really cold and getting ill just for the fact that it dulls your immune system a little bit and the fact that viruses travel in the cold air a lot easier because the cold air tends to be very dry. But the cold is not going to make me ill if I'm literally putting the bin out without a jacket on. I think I'll be okay. Whether she believes these wives' tales or not, you know, some of the wives' tales, they do have good points. There are certain things where you're like, oh, you know, yeah, that doesn't hurt to do, and it actually is kind of helpful, you know. There is a lot of them that are just absolute from nowhere. The main problem with this, though, is the fact that when she doesn't get her own way, she's throwing a massive wobbly, and she's trying to do things with someone else's child Just because it's your grandchild doesn't mean you get a say on what they do and what the parents do with the child. You can make suggestions, but ultimately it's the parent's decision. So if the parent says to you, no, you aren't taking them out there, you go, okay, that's fine. There you go. It's that easy. Like, you can't throw a wobbly when they don't parent how you want them to parent. Or when they ask you not to do something with their kid, that's their kid. So, next post, Nova But Not Fashion says mother-in-law wants all the things sister-in-law didn't want from her. Okay. I, 31F, am currently 36 weeks pregnant with my husband's 34M and I's first child, a little boy. This will be the first grandson for both of our families, but my brother and husband's sister each have 3 girls, so not the first grandchild for either side. From the moment we told my mother-in-law we were pregnant, she was already saying that this child will have her more involved and hands-on, which was weird in the moment, and I didn't understand exactly what she meant until I asked my husband for more clarity. Well, it turns out my sister-in-law knew her own mother is crazy and didn't, and still doesn't, let my mother-in-law do a lot of the things she wants to do. That is a red flag and a half, isn't it? For example, mother-in-law wants to be in the delivery room for every baby and be the first to let everyone know the gender, as well as announce it on social media. Is she nuts? That's like the parents thing. Leave them alone. You've had your kids. And the fact that she's so desperate just to put it on social media, I swear, these like Facebook boomers drive me mental. My sister-in-law is tough, so she had her blocked from the hospital and didn't let her come over until weeks later, which makes sense since her first 2 girls were born during COVID. Mother-in-law took to Facebook saying how unfair it is to exclude family from helping during the critical moments of a newborn's life, and how grandmothers should be there for all times. Oh, OP, you poor thing, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. Oh dear. Sister-in-law gave her the ultimatum to take down the post or never ever meet her girls. They eventually made up, but sister-in-law still has major boundaries. She will not do sleepovers with mother-in-law. Mother-in-law can only watch the girls at their house, no driving anywhere together, etc. You get my point. Sounds fair? This is where my problem with mother-in-law comes in. She loves going to my husband and make herself look like the victim, which he falls for all the time. Oh no. So, during the years of my sister-in-law establishing boundaries, mother-in-law was telling her sob story to him, and how things will be different when he has kids. Now she is presently saying how excited she is to be in my delivery room when little boy comes, and how she'll be the first to experience it. And that is where I'll be like, my love, you will be nowhere near my snatch that'll be 2 sheets to the wind. Absolutely not. She's also fully expecting to have my son stay overnight at her house, and how when he's older he will stay for weeks in the summer. We live 5 hours away. I'm sorry that your daughter knew you were crazy, but just because I'm having a child doesn't mean you get to make up those lost fantasies with me. How do I handle her? How can I talk to my husband on not enabling her? Help. You be stern and firm, and you do not waver. These kinds of people can smell fear, I swear. And you basically tell your husband, either you get with the program and stop pandering to her, or you'll be sleeping on the sofa. So, down in the comments, Red Fancy Dress says, Grandma here. First of all, you tell your husband if he doesn't get his mother-in-law, he's never getting laid again. I'm guessing get his mother in line, I suppose they may be meant to say. Inform him that if he lets his mother in that delivery room and sees your coochie, but they've put seizure coochie, Oh, that's a great typo. He will never see your coochie again. I've never read the word coochie so many times in one sentence, not gonna lie. You also need to remind both of them that you're the patient and you make the rules, and you aren't having any visitors in the delivery room. You need to start behaving like your sister-in-law does, and that's laying down some hard boundaries and being a bitch about it if that's what it takes. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, with people like that, you've got to be hella firm on your boundaries, otherwise they will just walk all over you. and then and then Antique Safety 4246 says seizure coochies sound painful. Oh goodness me. People of Reddit just can never take anything seriously, can they? And I love it. I gotta say, I love it. So, last post for the day, Limey96 says, my mother-in-law accused me of keeping her from her grandchild before he was even born, and now she hasn't spoke to us in over a year. Ah yes, you won't let me see my grandchild. So let me remove myself from your grandchild's life forever. Okay. Hi everyone, I've recently joined this community and want to share my experience with my mother-in-law. You know, here in the UK we would call that cutting your nose off to spite your face. That's literally what she's done. Back in March 2025, I was around 3 to 4 months pregnant with our son. One evening, I was cat-sitting for my parents, so I wasn't present when this happened. My fiancé had gone to his parents' house for a family game night. Before this, it had been Mother's Day. My fiancé had messaged his mum asking what she was doing, and she told him she was going out for lunch with one of his sisters. He assumed she already had plans and didn't want to intrude. A week later, when he attended the family game night, he brought along a bottle of wine and a Mother's Day card as a belated gift. Instead of accepting it, my mother-in-law became upset and told him how hurt she was that we hadn't been there for her on Mother's Day. After my fiancé explained that he genuinely thought she was busy because of her lunch plans, the conversation escalated. My mother-in-law then shifted the topic entirely and accused us of excluding her from our unborn child's life. At this point, I was still pregnant. Yeah, what's she expecting to do? Reach up your nether regions and give it a little tickle on the nose? Like, there's not a lot you can do, love. She already has another grandchild through my fiancé's brother and his partner, who live in Ireland, while we live only 5 minutes away from my in-laws. Despite this, she claimed that we were going to keep our son away from her as well. I mean, if you keep on acting crazy, then maybe. She also accused me of stopping my fiancé from spending time with his family, which couldn't be further from the truth. Anyone who knows me would laugh at the suggestion. I've never tried to interfere with his relationship with his family, and I've always encouraged him to maintain those connections. According to my fiancé, his mum had been drinking quite heavily that evening and was noticeably intoxicated. He tried to de-escalate the situation and suggested that they discuss everything another time, when emotions weren't running so high and alcohol wasn't involved. That's when my father-in-law, my fiancé's stepfather, stood up and told him to get the fuck out of my house. My fiancé immediately got up and left. Since that night, neither of them has spoken to us. There's been no apology, no attempt to resolve things, and no effort to meet our son. Our little boy is now 11 months old, and they have completely missed out on his entire life so far because of assumptions they made before he was even born. I still struggle to understand how a misunderstanding about Mother's Day turned into accusations that we're excluding them from their grandchild's life, especially when no such plans ever existed. It feels like they created a narrative in their head and then punished us for it. Has anyone dealt with grandparents who essentially cut themselves off because they assumed they were being excluded? Because they assumed they were going to be excluded? I mean, they just sound like they are all for the drama, honestly. So probably better to not have them heavy in your life or your child's life, especially considering the way they act when they've been drinking. Like, I always think people who are quick to anger when they're drinking are 9 times out of 10 quick to anger in real life as well. Or at least that's been my experience with it. You know, people don't just automatically turn into horrific assholes just because of drink. Normally, they're kind of already a little bit that way, and the drink just shines a big old light on it and makes it 10 times worse. Like I say, that's been my personal experience with people who get aggressive when they drink. I'm sure there is people out there that only ever get aggressive if they drink, and when they don't, they aren't ever aggressive. I'm just talking from my own experience. So if I had that experience with her, I'd be like, good riddance. See you later. Thank goodness she's decided to block herself from our lives, honestly. So, down in the comments, SLW202 says she just wanted a victim origin story. Now she can tell everyone that it's your fault she hasn't seen her grandchild. Yeah, maybe. Maybe she's one of those as well. I just think definitely a lover of the old drama, for sure. And then Reggie B13 says, people that throw out accusations are telling on themselves. You're keeping me from are the same people that go out of their way to exclude others. Honestly, unless your husband is hurting and missing her, then I would take the win and enjoy the peace. Exactly. And that's the thing though, it just cracks me up that she's like, you're keeping me from your child. What, the child that is still within my body? I am not a Teletubby, there isn't a window that you can tap on. This is no aquarium, this is my stomach. So there's not an awful lot I can do. Okay then, on that note, I think we'll leave it there for today. I think one of the kids is stirring, so I need to make sure that I am not recording and being loud. Although I don't know if they were, or whether it was just me hearing things, or even one of the cats, because I can't hear anything now. I'm trying to listen out. Anyway, if you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give it a little like, subscribe, notifications on, press the hype button, give Big Al a good old spanking. That is your initiation into the Covenant Void. I swear, recording late at night is just becoming unhinged. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!